Good day, everyone. In today's discussion, we will be discussing different operating system, namely Windows and Unix or Linux operating system. Here are the learning outcomes for this topic. First, let us define operating system. An operating system or OS is a software that communicates with the hardware and allows other programs to run. It is comprised of system software, or the fundamental files your computer needs to boot up and function. Most devices that we use today has an operating system. If you are using a desktop computer, a tablet, or a smartphone, all of these devices has an operating system that provides basic functionality on each of these devices or for each of these devices. Let us now discuss some terms used when we talk about operating system. First, we have kernel. A kernel is the heart of the operating system. It keeps track of files on the disk, starts programs and runs them concurrently, assigns memory and other resources to various processes, receives packets from and sends packets to the network, and so on. Based on the definition, you can see that the kernel is a very important part of an operating system, for it performs most of the tasks needed for an operating system. The next term is the system program. A system program uses the tools provided by the kernel to implement the various services required from an operating system. Now, there is a difference between a system program and a system software, which we will be discussing later on. We now go to our main topic, which is the Windows and the Unix operating system. So let us now have an overview of the Windows and Unix operating system. For the purpose of this discussion, we will focus our topic on Windows 10 version and Unix only. Let me discuss the Unix operating system first. The Unix operating system was developed by AT&T Corporation's Bell Laboratories in the late 1960s. Unix is a multi-user computer operating system and is widely used for internet servers, workstations, and mainframe computers. The main feature of Unix OS is its portability, or the ability of Unix to run on many different systems, multitasking, and multi-user capabilities, and its extensive library of software, making it relevant and useful today as it was in 1969. We will now discuss this further as we go on. Next, let's discuss Windows operating system. Who hasn't heard of Windows nowadays, right? We all know what Windows is. Anyway, Microsoft Windows was developed by Microsoft Corporation to run on personal computers. It is the first graphical user interface or GUI for IBM compatible PCs, and Windows OS soon dominated the PC market. The first version of Windows was released in 1985 and was simply a GUI offered as an extension of Microsoft's existing Disk Operating System, or MS-DOS, which is a command line interface, or what we call CLI. We now go to the different versions of the operating system. We will just go through the versions of these two OS. So here are the current versions of both Windows 10 and Unix. These versions are currently available in the market. What version you will use will depend on what it is intended to do. Okay, so let's move forward. Let's now discuss the features of Windows and Unix. First are the features of Windows operating system. The first feature to be introduced for Windows 10 is Cortana integration. Cortana is your very own personal assistant. You can type in or ask Cortana a question, and Cortana will seek out the best possible answer based on your question. Unfortunately, the full version of Cortana is not available in our country. The next is Secure Boot or Bot. Gives you the ability to use hardware-based visualization that allows Windows 10 to prevent malware from running on your system. Now, hardware-based virtual is an emerging technology. It uses virtual machines. Maybe you have heard about virtual machines, which maximizes the processor more effectively. Next, we have virtual smart card. A virtual smart card help an IT department that doesn't want to invest in extra hardware and smart cards. Virtual smart cards use trusted platform module or TPM devices that allow for the same capabilities as physical smart card with the physical hardware. Think of a virtual smart card as a password that unlocks another password. It adds another level of security in your system. Anyway, this is only one example of what a virtual card can do. The fourth feature of Windows 10 is the Miracast. Now, Miracast allows you to project your Windows 10 laptop or mobile device to a projector or television. You can extend your screen, show only your second window, or even duplicate your window. The next is enterprise data protection. Windows 10, except the home version of Windows 10, came with the Hyper-V built into the operating system. Hyper-V is Microsoft's version of a virtual server. This helps your computer process data faster and more efficiently, and this will also save you some money because you don't have to buy additional hardware that you will need for your computer system. Now, those are some of the features of Windows 10. Let us now go to the different features of Unix operating system this time. Before we continue, there are many different versions of Unix that you should know. Until a few years ago, there are two main versions. The line of Unix release that started at AT&T, which is the has the latest version of Unix called System 5 Released 4, and the other line from the University of California at Berkeley, which has the latest version of BSD 4.4. Now, here are some of the features of these Unix versions. First, we have portability. The When you talk about portability means that the system is written in a high level language, making it easier to read, understand, change, and therefore move to other machines. The code can be changed and compiled on a new machine. Customers can then choose from a wide variety of hardware vendors without being locked in with a particular vendor. Next, we have the machine independence. Machine independence means that the system hides the machine architecture from the user, making it easier to write applications that can run into micros, means, and also mainframes. The third is multitasking. Now, Unix is a very powerful multitasking operating system. It means when an active task in a process, uh, there can be a simultaneous background process working too. Unix handles these activities and background threads efficiently and manages the system resources in a fair share manner, meaning your system still functions faster because of the multitasking feature. Next, we have the multi-user operations. Unix is a multi-user system design, supports a group of users simultaneously. So the system allows for the sharing of processing power and peripheral resources, while at the same time providing excellent security features. That is why this is also the reason why some companies, when it comes to networking, instead of using Windows servers as their operating system, they make use of Linux or Unix. Next, number five, let's continue, is the hierarchical file system. So Unix uses a hierarchy structure to store information. This structure has the maximum flexibility in grouping information in a way that reflects its natural state. It allows for easy maintenance and efficient implementation, which is very important. Next, we have the Unix shell. Now, Unix has a simple user interface called the shell that has the power to provide the services that the user wants. Okay, so it protects the users from having to know the interface hardware details. So that is the purpose of the Unix shell. Next, we have the pipes and filters. Okay, pipes and filters. Unix has facilities called pipes and filters, which permits the user to create complex programs from simple programs. So it makes programming easier and simpler. And lastly, we have utilities. Now, Unix has over 200 utility programs for various functions. New utilities can be built effortless by combining existing utilities. And that concludes this discussion. Thanks for listening.